What's going on, guys? Got the new Harbor Freight catalog yesterday. I don't know why they continue to market with you know, tool disposal notice and stuff like they're gonna throw this stuff away. But anyway, I actually bought the compact drill driver. Actually, it was the hammer drill and the impact driver. Personally, I feel like they're quite expensive for what you get, and I actually am going to take them back. I haven't done it yet, but even compared to some old 18 volts I have, they're just not that good. I would like to try the earthquake stuff, but I don't think I'd pay $229 for it. You can get a name brand tool for that price or less. You know, the toolboxes are always good. I'm gonna hold this up, and if you guys want to use the coupons, feel free. You just have to pause it and get the code. Alright, we got some more for car canopy. I've actually seen one of those in person, set up, and it wasn't too bad. Automotive lift or ATV lift, I don't have one of those. I was thinking about getting a four-wheeler or a dirt bike or something, but hopefully if I just bought it I wouldn't need that. The moving blankets are actually very good quality. The vehicle position dolly, I always kind of wanted to get a few of those and just kind of be able to wheel my car around the garage without, you know, backing it out and moving it, but I've yet to do that. I've heard good things about the Bowers. It's probably just the Hercules one in a different skin. I'd like to get one of those and take them apart side by side and kind of see, but who's got the money for that? The air compressor is always a good deal. It's $10 cheaper than when I bought it. Very easy to maintain, very easy to use. Quite noisy though. I've had zero problems with it. The shop crane, people say it's great. I haven't got one yet. I do need to get one to pull an engine, but it still remains to be seen when I can get around to do that, as I have tons of crap I got to do anyway. The earthquake impacts, I'm sure they're great. The little cheap one they have takes lug nuts and everything off. Anything I've asked it to take off so far, it's taken off. More of the earthquake impacts. A little 10 foot by 10 foot pop-up canopy for 50 bucks. That's probably not that good. I'm sure Lowe's has a comparable one for probably about the same price. I've seen people box these trailers in, these fold-up trailers, and they actually make pretty decent trailers. I don't know about for the price. I don't think I've ever really went trailer shopping. The Portland stuff, I've never used the chainsaws, but I did use the power washer. It was completely garbage. The hardwood movers dollies, they're pretty good. I never used any winches, or the cement mixer, or their security stuff. The tool bags, they're pretty awesome. They're very tough. I don't know if it's some kind of Kevlar or just some kind of nylon stuff, but it's really tough. And the 12 outlet power strips, awesome. Actually, when I next time I go in the store, I'm gonna pick a few of those up. That metal workbench, I actually bought that thing. Even all put together and fully tightened, you know, and make sure you put it together on a level surface. It'll still wobble, and it's not very sturdy for what it is. And there's a lot of people that sell different branded ones of those, and they're all pretty much the same. The 500-pound capacity steel cargo carrier that hooks in your hitch of your truck or car, $39. That's obviously a really sweet deal. These tool sets and stuff, I'm pretty sure they're probably decent enough to get most people by. You know, and if they're not, they have a lifetime warranty on everything. Everything I've ever taken back that had the warranty, you don't even need a receipt. I just walked in and said this is broke, and they tell me to go get another one, and then I just walk out with it. I actually had this but it ended up being sold. It wasn't this particular one, it was the model they had before, and it was awesome. You know, if you ever had a clog in your septic or sewer, that thing it would go right through. Had no problems. It would pull out, you know, if people flush their strange of shit down the drain. Wash rags, towels, teddy bears, keys, who knows. But I've always been able to get it out with that. I've never used any of their grinders other than the cheapie, so that one's probably a little better. For people say that one is a lot better, but I've never checked it out myself. The reciprocating saw, I think it's a really good deal for, you know, 20 bucks. I don't think you get any other brand for anywhere near that price. The ratcheting wrenches are probably pretty decent. These magnetic tool holders, I absolutely love them. Every time I get a chance to get them for free, I do. The manual fluid extractor, I'm sure it's probably pretty decent and it'll probably work for, you know, pulling brake fluid out or something. But I've never used it. Their welding helmets, I'd just get a better one. It's not worth risking your eyes. The mechanics tool set, like I said, they're probably decent enough, and if they ever broke, you could get them replaced. The engine starter, I've actually used it. It's not that bad. The 3-piece step drill bits, I also have that. And I really don't care for the Warrior brand. I say this all the time, but these are actually pretty decent bits, and they're, you know, the other brands are way more expensive. This is one of those things where you get more than you pay for, but most of the other Warrior stuff you get what you pay for. The heat gun is actually moderately decent. I've had to take apart the switch a few times and rewire it because it kept like melting. It didn't almost catch on fire or anything. It just the contacts weren't on there very well. These clamp spreaders, decent, especially for what you pay for them. You got to be careful. The little wing nuts and the nut on the other side of the thing like to fall off, and the little grips also disappear quite often. Not a big deal, but it's something to watch out for. The sockets are unbelievable for the price. I've never even heard of one breaking. And like I said, I beat all my stuff. I actually have that caliper. It's decent. It seems accurate. You know, if you measure it up to something, it's not even, you know, it's up to par. Actually, I also had that rubber wheel chock. It's just a wheel chock. There's not anything too special about it. It does grip into the ground real well. So if your car decides to move or something, it will stop it. I kind of always wondered about that too. The SAE and metric T-handle ball end hex key set. I actually had a need for one of those the other day, and I was thinking about that set. So if anyone has this set, can you tell me if you like it or not before I go buy it? I actually have this set too. I hate that it's Warrior, but they seem to only last for a few cuts. So if you're just cutting out a hole in your floor for a plumbing for the bathroom sink or something, and you don't want to spend a shit ton of money on a set, awesome. You know, they're comparing to a set that's $96, so you could buy almost 10 sets of these before you could buy a better one. And another set probably would not last 10 sets of those. So the Welders, they seem to have a new brand here, Vulcan. That's kind of neat. I haven't ever seen these before, and I was actually considering buying a welder from Harbor Freight just to kind of play with, because I've never welded before. And they got a little coupon up here for 20% off Vulcan accessories or consumable. See if we can get the zoom in on the coupon if you guys want to use it. And they're quite a bit more expensive than Harbor Freight's other welders. $799. I wonder if this is like a good durable brand like some of the other stuff they're trying to do. And here's the cheapy welders. I mean, for 79 bucks, and you can use the, you know, the 20% off coupon, or 25 if you wait till they have that kind of sale. I'm sure it's got to be decent for what you pay. The little butane micro torch, that thing is really awesome. It's a real time saver, easy to use, small. You can, you know, easy to carry with you. You don't have to carry that big propane tank or any of that stuff. It's awesome to keep around for heat shrink also, if you use a lot of that. I've never used any of the spot welders or dent repair welders. I've heard good things about the earmuffs. I've seen people talk about that they buy them in mass quantities and they use them all the time. You know, they're obviously not perfect, but they're good for what you pay. The welding mask, they look good. I don't know about if they function properly or not, but and all the welding supplies here. Stuff I can't really talk about because I don't know anything about it. The generators, they seem like good deals. $700 for one that they say is better than the Honda one. Almost everything Harbor Freight's actually claimed is better that I've tested is not. They may come close, but they were never better. They're definitely better on the price, just not on the cost. Or the quality, or power, or whatever they're claiming. You know, and Harbor Freight stuff only has a 90-day warranty. Just kind of thinking about those anti-fatigue mats. I do a lot of standing in my garage, and I thought maybe those would help. You know, my back starts hurting after an hour or so. The tire changer, I've had mixed experiences with it. You got to make sure you bolt it to the floor, or you're gonna have some problems. The lumber mills and stuff I've never used. Compressors and the compactors and cement mixers and stuff. I'm sure they're decent for the price. Every time I go into Harbor Freight, someone's buying this gas model, so maybe it's good. But I mean, all this stuff for the price probably shouldn't be that bad. Maybe, you know, if you buy some of these things, get the extended warranty. I've used a few of these pumps on a pond. They were okay. They weren't anything phenomenal. They did last quite a while. So maybe that's something if you have a pond or something you need a pump for. I've never used any of these Drummond pumps for sumps or trash pumps or whatever. The Portland pressure washer. It says new. I don't know what's new about it because it's not that new. I actually, like I said in previous videos, I actually bought this and I had to take it back. And whenever you take it back, you know, after you've used it and you take it back, there's actually a restocking fee. It was like 20% or something. So you gotta be real careful. What mine did is after I bought it, I came home, I started using it, and then it just cut off all power to the pump and never worked again. So the next day I took it back. They charged me a fee. They may not charge it anymore, but they did at the time. I guess to make sure you weren't renting it to wash your house or deck or something. I've never used any of the other Portland stuff. I'm always curious about these pole saws. If you can see it. I think it's kind of a neat idea. Uses a battery. This is a newer line, I think. This Lynx. I've never tried them. Never even heard anything about them. I've seen the pictures. That's it. They're water hoses. I actually have this white one. Of the 100-foot. It's a decent quality hose, and for 30 bucks you get a heavy-duty 100-foot hose. I don't think you could find anything better. The ammo cans, they are water resistant. I wouldn't say waterproof, but they're water resistant. You know, so if you just had it out on a table with you in the rain or something, they will keep the water off your ammo or other goods. But I think if you submerge it, I think the water would win. I actually have the Machete with the serrated blade. It's decent. I mean, you could cut some tall grass with it or something, but that's about it. You know, maybe threaten a burglar. Other than that, that's it. Their hammers, they've all been decent. The shout out to the dead blow hammers though. I mean, I beat the crap out of this thing. I'm always hitting things with it. I used it when I was building a retaining wall, and I was hitting these stones repeatedly with it. And we're talking, I don't know, probably 600 stones. And it's really held up well. The rubber mallet is a cheap rubber mallet. It's not anything special, but it does what it's intended to do. The V-shape hang-alls. I don't know if you guys have these or not, but they're $2 and you can hang up, you know, 2 extension cords or water hoses. You know, it's not the most beautiful looking thing to hang on your wall, but they're super cheap and very sturdy. There's the clamps again, the ratchet spreading clamps. Like I said, they're pretty decent. Alright, the 3/8 drive Starr bit socket set, I actually own that. I've stripped them out several times just on brakes. Trying to remove some bolts from brakes. Luckily they have a lifetime warranty, but it's just one of those things. Maybe you want to spend a little more and get a better set. That screwdriver that they like to give away for free, I've never found anything useful to use it for. I do have 2 of them. As there's just some coupon I had. You know, you always gotta get your free thing. Alright, so if you need a pry bar, this set for $10, this is an awesome deal. They're very sturdy. The file set, if you had to do some fine details on something, those are probably a good deal too. I mean, $8, you get 5 files. This wood chisel set, I actually own this. I haven't used them a whole lot, but I do have them, and so far they're pretty good. Don't have that one. They're axes. I've heard decent things about them. I personally have never used one. I do like their cheap plastic handle better than a wood handle though. Maybe that's just me, but I don't like getting splinters, and I don't usually wear gloves. I never owned any of these tools down here on the bottom. I own a big old C-clamp. I don't know if it was the 6-inch one or maybe it was like an 8 or 10. Anyway, I got it from Harbor Freight. That thing is built like a tank. I've used it to clamp down on stuff and then beat on it. So it's pretty good. This folding lockback utility knife, it's actually a pretty good deal. It doesn't come with a bunch of blades like the one you can get from Lowe's. Lowe's has a cobalt one that's about the same price. Comes with like 10 blades. These sets are probably a pretty good deal. This 50-inch clamp and cut edge guide. Does anyone own that? Is it easy to adjust? I was actually thinking about buying that, but I just haven't yet. Allen keys, that exact set, I actually have that. I think it's a great deal. And they actually stay in their holder, unlike some of the other brands. Their wrenches, most of them are a great deal. Considering that you get a lifetime warranty with them, and they pretty much just switch them out without asking for a receipt or anything. You just bring it in and they'll switch them out. They're all a great deal. These little picks, they break very easily. So if you ever buy those, just realize that you could break them, and just be careful with them. I use them a lot to get some seals out of like water pumps and stuff. That'll have a little seal that'll stay back in there, and you can kind of gaskets. You can kind of pick them out. Magnetic tool holder again. I think it's a great deal. And there's those tools I was talking about, those T-handle things. So if anyone has that, please let me know. Very curious about it. Actually, this was the first set of Allen keys I ever bought from Harbor Freight. And you know, they come in like a pocket knife handle, and there's a screw on each end. Well, the screw on each end likes to fall out. Even if you tighten it down, it'll still find a way to fall out. So I ended up just tossing them. The handles. I think I might have kept the keys. The rivet gun, never used it. These nut drivers, I was seriously considering getting them. But most of the time I just use sockets. The composite ratchets, they're really awesome. If you've ever seen any of my videos, I talk about them all the time. They're covered under the lifetime warranty also. You know, so if you find a way to break it, they'll replace it. They're breaker bars. I've seen them go up, you know, head to head with Snap-on and stuff. Why the hell would you want to pay $160 for something you can get for under 10? I mean, under 20, excuse me. But I mean, I got each size of the breaker bar. I don't have any of the swivel heads yet, but I'm gonna get some of those. I mean, and I actually own 2 torque wrenches from there, a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch. They're a great deal. I've never tested them, but they've also never given me a reason to test them. I mean, they're 20 bucks, and I think I've seen them on sale for even cheaper. All right, we got the sockets, some more sockets. I'd say stay away from the colored ones, and also the chrome ones. Every time I've ever used the chromed or colored ones, I always break them. You know, like I'll put them on a breaker bar or something, or even just a ratchet. If you put a little too much pressure on them, they'll actually split down the side. Yes, you can go back and get another one, but I would just say just buy the case of the impact ones. Oscillating tools, I'm sure they're pretty decent, especially for what you pay. Sometimes around like Christmas and holidays, they'll actually say if you spend $60, you can get one of these tools for like $5 bucks. Never used any of the polishers, so I can't really comment on those. I did buy this little detail sander. It was pretty decent. It was nothing real special. I have never used this little one, but I do own this one, and it works pretty well. I would say it's comparable to a Dremel, but I've never had them side by side to compare. It's had no problems cutting anything or sanding. I use a lot of wire wheels on it actually. Knocks rust off real easy. The miter saw, $200 for that. That's not really a good deal. You can get a much an equivalent name brand one with a much better warranty. There's 10-inch ones around from like, I don't know, probably Black & Decker and they're pretty much every brand, and they can be had for like 60 bucks, so that's not a good deal either. Circle saws, never used them. I have used the jigsaw. I actually own this one, the red one. It was pretty decent. I did get it at a different price than that though. I got it for, I'm gonna say $19. Never used a toe kick saw. It's kind of an interesting tool. I'm not even sure what that's used for, but it's definitely interesting looking. The table saw, I got a Craftsman one for about the same price. It actually looks identical, just different colors, so they're probably all made in the same factory. But I got a better warranty in 90 days. The Sawzalls, they're all pretty decent, especially since I own the small one, and I beat the crap out of it repeatedly, and it just keeps on going. The grinder, I've only owned this one. I've never owned any of the other ones. You know, so it was $8.99 when I bought it. For something that's that cheap, you really can't expect anything from it. You know, it does operate. It just sucks. This thing right here, if you're ever thinking about you need an electric impact, that thing is built. It's pretty rock solid, especially for what you pay. I want to say I paid like $35 on sale or something like that, and I feel like it was an awesome deal. You know, removes lug nuts. You can put some extensions on it to get in tight places if you need to, and it'll pull it off, pretty much any bolt off, no problem. I don't know anything about it. It says 230 foot-pounds. I mean, I've never tested them, but it's definitely pretty strong. They're corded power drills. I'm sure they're decent for, you know, for your $20, but I generally try to avoid things like that at Harbor Freight. I did make the mistake of buying this. Not that it's a horrible tool, and I want to say I paid $15.99 with a coupon or something. The flashlights works pretty good. There was actually a recall on the drill I bought, so I took it back and they just gave me another kit. They said bring your drill back and we'll switch it out, and they just gave me the whole kit. So I have 2 flashlights and 2 batteries and 1 drill. But it was definitely a good deal. You know, and I've used it to put up drywall and stuff. If you don't have a lot of money and you need a drill, or just one that you could use for a little while and throw away after you, I don't know, ruin it. I don't know, maybe you're doing something with paint and you get paint all over it. I don't know, but it's not too bad of a deal. And I see they have this 18 volt 1/4 inch impact for $20. That's not too bad. If it's anything like the drill, you know, it's questionable quality, but they do work. I may just go buy that just so I can check it out. This 1/2 inch impact, you can get a name brand one for that price. If you're gonna get that, just go ahead and get the corded one. But if you just wanted to buy that to keep in like your truck box or something, so you can use it to change your tire or help someone else out, maybe it'd be worth it. But like I said, there's better brands for around the same price. Alright, here we have the Hercules. I actually have a video on the impact driver and the hammer drill. I'm sure that they somewhat compare to DeWalt, but I mean, you only get a 90-day warranty with this. And the DeWalt, I believe, was more powerful, and I believe there's much more powerful tools than the DeWalt for about the same price. Me, myself, I actually recently fell in love with the Milwaukee tools. It's not something that I, you know, planned on or whatever. I just kind of use whatever. But I definitely decided I wanted a tool that you can use the batteries and a bunch of stuff. You know, and if Hercules someday comes out with some other tools that you can use their batteries for, because their batteries are pretty cheap. I believe the one that comes on the tool, you can buy a replacement for $20. Lowe's also has a set of 24 volts tools that they have a battery that's $10. It's only a 1.5 amp hour battery, but for $10, you can, you know, buy 10 of them for $100. Some of the DeWalt batteries cost about that for just one. I'm pretty sure there's a battery that was more. Alright, these Bowers. You know, that's not a horrible price. But I don't know, I don't really know what they compare to. But you can buy a Black & Decker 20 volt impact driver, and it comes with a drill for cheaper than the impact driver. And you know, it's a Black & Decker, but if you're going to buy something like this, you might as well go ahead and buy one that has a decent warranty. Some more Bauer tools. There's a portable thickness planer. I was kind of interested in that, and then I watched somebody else review that, and they said it didn't work so good. These earthquake impacts, I would love to try them out sometime, but you know, I just don't have that kind of money just to throw at those for no reason. The impact sockets, every one of them I've ever used has been great. The compressors, if you're gonna buy a compressor from Harbor Freight, make sure you get the oiled version. The oilless ones are just super noisy in my experience, and they last about a year, and then they're garbage because the motor will eventually die. The Diablo Hoses. These things are awesome. I actually made a mistake of buying just a regular, it was red, but a rubber air hose from there. And it started cracking and stuff after about 6 months. But I actually have the red one. It's a badass hose. I'm actually going to grab another one next time I'm in there, I think. And I keep wanting to pick that up, but I always forget. The few people I talked to about it, they said it was a really nice thing. They said you have to kind of fight with it sometimes to get the hose to lock out. But maybe worth trying. I actually have the full head Thermometer. It works great. I put up a whole room worth of studs. Didn't give me no problems. I've never had a jam. Now one time, every once in a while with the Harbor Freight nails, you'll find a few at the end of your clip that just doesn't want to go through for whatever reason. But other than that, that's my only complaint with it. There was the finish nailer. I actually took it back because it was like 60 bucks. This is this guy right here, 16 gauge finish nailer. And I bought a refurbished Hayachi. I think that's how you say it. So if it's wrong, please excuse me. For 30 bucks, and it came with a hard case and safety glasses, earplugs and stuff. So as soon as I seen that deal on that thing, I took that thing back immediately. I was thinking about getting one of the staplers, air staplers. I don't know what I'd use it for necessarily, but I thought it'd be cool to have. Never used any of these things. I do have the grinder and some kind of polishing thing. I was kind of thinking about getting a hammer, but like I said, I couldn't really think what I would use it for in the long term. I'm fortunate enough to own 2 of their jacks. I have the 2.5 ton steel and the 2 ton aluminum, and they're both the low profile racing jacks is what they call them. Well, my car, before I changed the suspension over to new stuff, this wouldn't fit under there. But after I changed it back to not stock, but in between stock and what it was, I'm able to get it under there. Slides right under. My car is probably 3.5 inches off the ground or something like that, and it'll get all the way under to the frame rail. Very sturdy. I've left it out in the rain, left it in the garage all winter, and it's still in really good shape. It's a little dirty, a little rusty, but it's definitely, its integrity is still there. I never used any of these shop cranes or any of that stuff. I do want one of the cranes. I don't know if it's gonna fit where I want it, but it would be nice to have. The foldable shop crane is something I'm definitely gonna pick up, and maybe the engine crate there. Okay, right there. But I'm sure there's better ones around for similar price. I've never seen this before, so yeah, it says new. ATV mower high lift jack. It's by Fisher. 750 pound H frame capacity. 500 pound saddle capacity. 5 position saddle adjustment. It's kind of neat. Like I said, I don't have any ATVs or anything. Maddox. Slide hammers are really neat. I would say you'd be hard put to find one for near the same price. I have the vacuum tool. It's pretty decent. I've seen people use this, the refrigerant manifold there. Some axle lock nut socket set. That's kind of neat. I kind of wish I would have had that. I had to ruin a few sockets hammering them onto some locking wheels that I got that they didn't give me the right key when I bought the car. I should have took it back and got another one, or made them find it. Other gloves, I prefer the black ones. They're a little more, they're tougher than the other two, but they're all a really good deal. I commonly buy gloves from there. It's like one of the staple things I get pretty much every time I go. I own those gloves. I bought them just because they're on sale for like $3. They're a very nice set of gloves, especially for $3. These oil wrenches and stuff, I'm sure these guys over here, sorry. I'm sure they work pretty well. And I do have this brake bleeder pump. It's not too bad. I want to say I paid $18 for it or something like that. But it was a pretty good deal and it works pretty well. Takes a little grease to help it seal up all the way. Float charger. That thing's on sale usually for like $4.99. It's actually pretty decent. I actually use it quite often. My car likes to sit in the garage for weeks at a time, so I keep it on the float charger. There's that rubber Wheeljack again. It's pretty good. The digital multimeter. Even when it's free, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Though, you could use it to see if an outlet's on or whatever, but the leads usually crack and stuff. And if you're going to be working around electricity and the lead's cracked, it's just not a good idea. Well, these inspection cameras and the OBD2 scanners, inverters, and all that stuff, I've never used any of those. I do have the thermometer with the laser targeting. As far as I can tell, it's pretty accurate. I've never compared it to anything else. These surveillance kits. I was actually thinking about getting a set of these. There's the crime in my area here recently has been quite high, so I was considering getting one. I didn't know which one I'd want. I didn't know if I wanted the wireless one or the wired one. So that's something I'm gonna look at them in the store. But if I get one, for sure you'll definitely see a video on it. I've heard people say this wire assortment's a good thing to have around if you work on a lot of things that have wiring, cars, tractors, four-wheelers, anything of that nature. These safes, I've heard a lot of people say they're questionable. You get this big old safe that you're going to keep all your guns and stuff in, and it's got like a really cheesy handle on it. They're LED lights. They're pretty decent. I actually have this one. LED work light there. And for $20 with a coupon or whatever, it's not too bad. Especially when you're going to pay about the same for the halogen one. I actually had this one a long time ago. I went ahead and tossed it, but it blew the bulb. Like, you could use it for about 45 minutes and the bulb would blow. So if you were working on something, it was quite frustrating. I'm always interested in the solar panel, but everyone I've ever talked to said just buy one off eBay or something else. You'll get it for cheaper and it'll actually be better. This is the newer modeled one. It says 2 times more power than I guess the one that they had, the one they had before. This is $1.89 a watt. And, it looks like it comes with a charge controller and some bulbs. It's kind of neat. I thought about putting my car on a float charger that was attached to one of those, but it just honestly wasn't worth it. The cord reel, I was thinking about getting that also. The TV mounts, I don't know. I've never actually bought one from Harbor Freight, but all the ones I've ever bought and used, they feel cheap, but once you get the TV on and stuff, they're usually pretty sturdy. And on this little level, it's not too bad. It's great if you're like installing some kind of paving stones or something. You need a small level to check everything out. The wire running kit, I've heard people say that thing is awesome. So, $10 and you get 33 feet of rods. I think that's probably an awesome deal. I think the rods at Lowe's, a single rod costs more than that. Parts washer, I considered getting one of those once, but I don't actually have that many parts I need to wash, so I decided not to. I've heard people actually say pretty decent things about that paint spray gun. You know, it's 20 bucks. You know, and if you were just painting something like a fence, where it doesn't really matter too much. You know, I probably wouldn't try to paint a car with it or anything, but if you're painting a fence or something, I think that thing would be awesome. Maybe a deck. Especially if you put down drop floss and keep it off everything else. I don't really see how you can go wrong. I'm always interested in the grinders. I've never actually heard anything about them. I'm sure they're probably pretty cheesy. But I'm always interested in them every time I see them. So if anyone has one of those, let me know if you like it or not, please. We got the shop presses. I've used it to push ball joints in and out. That thing's awesome. Magnetic magnetic floor sweeper with release. You know, if you're you have a big area and you're constantly pulling nails out of pallets or I don't know, staples or anything, investing in a broom like that might be worth it. You know, especially if you park your car in there or even just drive a car through sometimes to keep that stuff out of your tires and maybe out of your feet. The Biscuit plate joiner. I've actually heard people say this tool isn't that bad. I personally never used it. We got some drill presses up there. $67 for a drill press. Makes me kind of wonder what the components look like inside. Industrial dust collector. I've seen people use that. I think that's awesome. If you did something where you're staining a lot of wood or cutting a lot of wood, you need to get the dust away from you, it'd be good to have. Scroll saw. I considered buying that once. Still haven't done it. It's one of them tools that I probably wouldn't use that much. Belt sander. I've heard a lot of people say they didn't like it and it couldn't do anything, and I've heard people say you just make an adjustment of the way the motor sits and everything's perfect. The dollies, the foldable one, I've heard people say good things about just because it's easy to stow away and take with you. But the rest of these are quite expensive. I was actually at Menards, and mine's probably about that size, but it looks like that and it's green. Mine was actually made by Milwaukee. And it was under $30 at Menards. These wood movers dollies, it's very sturdy. I sometimes ride around on mine in the garage. Not necessarily a safe thing to do, but they're good to have if you're moving heavy furniture or something. Even just moving things around in the garage. They have some weight to them. Drywall hoist. That's probably one of my favorite things that Harbor Freight has. I was actually considering the other day, I had to put a few pieces of drywall up in my basement ceiling, and I was considering just going to go buy it and use it and then sell it to, to someone on Craigslist or something like that. It's definitely something, if you're going to be hanging, I don't know, 30 pieces of drywall or something, that's something that you should go get. It's so easy to maneuver around. That ladder, it's actually a pretty decent ladder. It's very sturdy. My mother actually has that. And it's kind of convenient to have, but my feet aren't small. And when I'm trying to come off the roof, I try to put my feet on the second rung because the top one's up above the roof. But I can't get both my feet on the same thing at the same time. And just with the pitch of my roof, it was just quite frustrating. So I kind of wrote that ladder off. But it's definitely better than a lot of the ones that you can buy online that come in all smashed up. These saw horses, you actually get a set of 2 of them for 20 bucks. They feel so flimsy, but they are actually very sturdy in the end. When you put a little weight on them, they stiffen up. Definitely a good deal. And they're light. So you can keep them on top of a shelf, and if they fall off, they're not going to kill you. The step ladders, they're quite expensive for what you get. I've never really bought any of this stuff. I've never bought any of the hitches from there, or lighting kits, or trailers. Some of that stuff looks like it's a good deal. but like I said, I've never really shopped around. Same with most of this stuff. I did buy the ratcheting straps, tie downs, excuse me. You can actually get a set at Walmart for much cheaper. You get the set of 4 that's just like that for about $7. Walmart beats Harbor Freight on a lot of things. The microfiber cloths, I commonly get those for free, the pack of 4, or I have, not commonly. I usually go for different things. They're just microfiber cloths. They're not anything special. And I also noticed Harbor Freight started carrying the McGuire stuff. I don't know if they've always done that, but it's the first time I remember seeing it. Their car wash soap is pretty good. But like I said, it's probably cheaper to buy somewhere else. That's probably a few dollars cheaper than Walmart. Bungee cords are pretty decent. I've never used a bed coating, but I bet that's not a bad price. I wonder how tough that stuff is. 5-gallon Jerry gas can, $40. I feel like you probably find a better deal somewhere else. Never used any of these winches, but the 12,000 pound capacity is pretty neat. I'd like to see that. The wooden workbench. It's actually a very nice table. The little clampy thing on the little wooden clamp on the side. That's kind of questionable, but you know, it feels like it's going to be a little wobbly. But once you get it all full together and get a little weight on it and stuff, that thing is awesome. The metal workbench, you can buy it cheaper online. Probably about $20 cheaper on like eBay or Amazon. You know, matter of fact, I'll throw a link to the one on eBay whenever I post this, and just to show you. But anyway, I own that exact table. I actually hate it. I'm gonna replace it eventually. I just store stuff on it anymore. It's too wobbly to do any actual work on. The Yukon one is actually better than the Husky one. It's also a few dollars cheaper. I watched a comparison video. Maybe I'll put a link to that down there too. Of the Yukon to the Husky one. The Yukon one's a little shorter, but everything is held together much better. The Yukon one, like the top is just sitting on there, and the Yukon one is bolted. So the Husky one, the top actually warped because of moisture where it was kept. So that was kind of interesting to see. I have this little 30-bin Walmart wall mount parts rack. It's all plastic. You just kind of throw a few screws up and then just kind of clip in. It's a cheap thing, but I got it on sale for like 14 bucks. The toolboxes. I don't have any experience with owning them, but touching them in the store, I was actually pleasantly surprised at how well they were like put together, how well they felt. I don't know, maybe they were special display models or whatever, but I was definitely impressed. Alright, we have these coupons on the back for the power washer for 79 bucks. It's out of focus. Alright, we got this welder for 100. Miter saw. Solid light. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave them below. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for sticking around to the end. Peace. Here's the back. Some coupons for the solar panel. Makes 149 bucks. The airless paint sprayer kit. The stupid oilless compressors. Gas generator, $274. Miter saw for $130. I think you should really avoid that. 80 bucks. And then 90 amp Flux welder. Coupon to make it $99. So maybe I'll end up picking up one of those. Only time will tell. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. If you made it all the way to the end, I owe you a drink. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.